Today we will cover a very important topic, which is the moderation of communication and posts on social media. We open now one out of 2 training sessions planned for this week. Tomorrow we will go in deep about this topic, so we will cover this topic again with some further details. And then during our last lesson next week, we will have the time to discuss, to do some kind of exercises, specifics on these topics, which is especially the moderation, but not only. I don't have anything to add at the moment, so I would leave the room to Isabella, since it's 9:30. It's really time to start.
Today we will start the part of the formation about the moderation of content, which is a really sensitive part. So really feel free to interrupt me and to ask me more questions, also in your experience, because I can easily understand that when we talk about moderation of content and the moderation of community, you will have lots of important experience that you can share, and so we can talk specifically about your needs and your issues. The acquisition of social media moderation techniques, and we do in a specific or some practice quote of in online there is a huge difference. Everybody feel that she think and their opinions are or they're important topics, and it really is. But the really big difference about online communication, about moderation, is that it's not so easy to be listened to. So we will see together how to face interaction online. So so I follow some of the major communication crises. And so here there are some quotes that you can revise. For example, about Morandi Bridge. I don't know if you know that in Italy, or about pharmaceutical companies that need to monitor unpredictable side effects. So a very famous quote in digital media says that content is king. That it means that when are very, very important, but is queen. In other words, for the diffusion of an idea or an initiatives. The most effective way to give visibility to your message is, in fact, to involve your supporter in its diffusion. Each person who follows you on social channels can help to spread the message among his contacts with a click. It is the simplest and most immediate form of participation, and for this reason, it is the one that can potentially involve the largest number of people and constitute the first steps towards more demanding forms of involvement. Stimulating a larger online participation can be useful, therefore, both for disseminate information and to build a community that also participate online in your activities. Because community is like the fuel of your social media, because community likes, shares, comments, they spread the word, they sustain you also in difficult moments. A community can also defend you if there will be some problem in communication, but of course community can also put you in a very difficult situation. So be on social media is not like to participate to a talk show, because all the community concept, all the communication strategy look at social media like social media where a talk show, where you go, you had your interview, maybe other guests can ask you something, and then when the show is over, you go home and the debate it's ends. But beyond social media, it's not like that, because communication flow is permanent and ongoing. Anybody can reply to you in every moment. Here I have written even to those old 2003 tweets. And it was funny because the Italians of you who are online can know about an Italian case studies about Imogen. Imogen, she's like an economic influencer, and it has been discovered that she has not a master in economy, so she lied for several years. And there were a lot of her old tweets, very old tweets from 2003, where she tweets, for example, that she hates that when people tell things that are not true and give themselves masters or license they don't have. So it was particular complicated to give to her some kind words. Anybody has the chance, on the other hand, to gain visibility, also huge visibility for great content, but also for bad ones. Here you can see a Justin Sacco tweet, which is horrible. And what's the story about Justin Sacco? Justin Sacco was a manager of an NGOs, and she was going to Africa for work. Then, before to leave America, she sent these tweets online, these horrible tweets. I don't know if she wants to be funny. She told so. Well, she had just 180 followers when she tweeted that. When you have so few followers or friends, you think, oh, nobody will notice it, even if you post not these kind of things. Well, in the meanwhile, the flight was proceeding. The tweet went viral, and there was the hashtag Justin Sacco, and the Justin Sacco retirement becomes viral with thousands and thousands and thousands of tweets per second. And the NGOs where she works had to write a note to the newspaper where they fired Justin Sacco, and she didn't know that because she was on the flight and she had to turn off her phone. So you can imagine a tweet to your community about 180 followers, and then when you land with your flight, you were fired, you were viral on the internet, and there were at the airport many people with a lot of cartels, a lot of billboards saying Justin Sacco, shame on you, and all this kind of thing. So you can imagine, this is of course an extreme case study, but it reminds us the possibility in good sense and in bad sense of internet and community, and the power of community. Because of course, in the case of Justin Sacco, a responsibility of maybe one contact, which was a journalist who noticed this shameful tweet and just retweeted to his larger community. So the influencer, we can see. How to interact, how to manage. To deeply understand how to manage online community, we will proceed practically towards 5 fundamental key points. This is important to focus on the architecture of online community and then to manage it. Also in critical situation. We have already talked about some of these points when we have studied together about editorial plan, contents, and strategy of your channel. And this important topic will come back here when we talk about moderation. Because the fundamental key points of the online community are the message Bible. We have seen together that message Bible, it's like a short document that resume the values and the mission of your organization. Target, so who are people who are talking to, monitoring, understand and be rational, and to involve, the most important. So, do you know yourself? The first step for a digital strategy, as we seen together, from moderation online, is to write a message Bible. The message Bible of an institution, organization is a simple bullet point. It's not something very, very difficult at the end that resumes 4 statements true for the guy. It's this bullet point of 4 statements that can talk about the mission, the vision, and the aspects that are more important for the organization. The 4 pillars of the message Bible resume the values, the vision, and the mission and the beliefs. It's helpful to understand what really matters. But why the message Bible is important for community moderation? Because it remembers who you are behind the name of a social account. Your social media account is like a person. It has values, a tone of voice, and peculiarities. We are talking about tone of voice. Because sometimes we are so overwhelmed by daily work. We know so in deep our organization that it's like that sometimes we forget what we are, who we are online, no? What we represent for real, which are the values we represent. Because when you work for something so hard, so passionate, it can happen that you identify yourself with the organization. No, you feel like it's the same thing. Maybe sometimes you're like a person because it has its own vision, its own mission that of course can be the same of yours, but it's not the same thing. Here there is a little practical exercise funny to do together. So we'll ask you to write in chat, for example, to imagine that your organization is a real person and to write 3 adjectives of referred to your organization as a person. For example, strong, inspiring, this kind of thing. You have 5 minutes to do that. It's not I will stop share so you can write in the chat. So let's imagine that your organization, it's a person, and write 3 adjectives to describe it. Okay, it's the first: passionate, involved, close. Okay, so these first adjectives just remind us that of course there is a passion, so an involvement, so community management is very important. We have to answer to people, to feel to make people to feel close to us. In fact, it's the 3rd adjective. It's very, very interesting. So maybe for your organization, the part of interaction online, it's very, very important because it's about, say, with people, cooperative, qualitative, ambitious. Okay, so about the cooperation, so maybe it's more important to give space to activities with other partners. Qualitative, so it's also about content. And ambitious, it's a very interesting adjective because it's about vision, so we have to inspire people if we have so big ambitious. Young, sociable, and critical. Oh, that's really, really interesting. Young, so maybe our target, it's about young people, so our language should be very, very handily, and to use maybe maybe it will make you laugh. Maybe we will use some emoji, no, because just to interact in the way our target interacts, but it depends in the specific. And also critical, so we will have also very strong contents, also with strong words. Innovative, original, strong, obstinate, it's interesting. So you see, self-confident, responsible and trustable, self-confident. It's incredible adjective. Competent, sober. So we will have here a more institutional tone of voice, and engaged. So, and competent. So maybe we will give more space to most hider content, no? Hider in the sense of contents that go in deep, that explain in deep. Open-minded, multicultural, and young. So here we have a more progressive type of content. Young, so the tone of voice, maybe it would be more informal, also institutional, but maybe more informal with more colloquial expressions or handly way to express. I don't know if we missed someone, but it was a really simple exercise to do together, and it showed you how to switch in the perspective that we are talking like about person from the other side, but also from our side, to remind us that we are talking as a real things, and we have to respect our identity also when we are online, to speak, to remind you that if we want to talk to a certain type of people, we have to express the content we want to see. No, if we want to, and here there is the other, where I go, the other point, the target. So before you start interacting with user, you also who effectively you are talking to, but also is important to focus about who you want to talk to. So we are not just talking with supporters, unfortunately, but also contestants. To know the personas behind the community could be useful to understand how to write and what to write. No, to understand who the supporters are, what they care especially about, but also that there will be users, people that are more critic versus our work. So we don't have so much time to do the personas community, but we can get in deep maybe to the next lesson. About to focus about the personas of your community. We have talked about that in the previous lessons. So let's find the name, the age, the profession, what she fears and what she hopes. Don't underestimate the importance of monitoring. Okay, monitoring, maybe it's the most boring part of social media. I know that. Important, and it helps us in many ways. It's about to read for real comments or comments with shared content. No, we post something and then we can see that it has been shared. And if we can, it's interesting to see how it is shared. There was a comment to the maybe it was put in relevance a particular part of our post. To understand that, to read that, it offer help or information to user who need it. Maybe monitoring and reading comments and messages we have on our pages. We can offer help to people. Maybe a user in particular need could write to us, and we can answer, giving information, giving assistance, and to interact directly, which is the proper mission of our organization, no? To help people go in that way, and to prevent critical content, because of course it can happen that it's something really really, I don't know, really unpredictable, but in most cases it's not. There are always some signals that we could understand about I don't know, creative content, or some of not a positive online environment. So monitoring also offers us inspiration to what content we should post more or write it. Engagement suggests us how to optimize our communication line. If a post it's particularly engaging, so there are many likes, many comments, we can understand that that type of content works better than others, so we can understand what our community prefers. Moreover, monitoring should be not just on our social media channels. Well, in a perfect world, when we have many free times, we could monitor hashtags or particular topic to know better the position and feelings related to a particular issues. What I mean to read online content, not just the content which is on our social media channels, but also what people write online about a content that is important for us. For example, to follow discussion inside the Facebook groups of Islamic community could be an idea, no? To know what is written online, to go in deep, because it can give us ideas of topic to treat, ideas about offline events to organize, but also about the topic that are particular, critical, or sensitive. We were talking about what involvement really means. To involve is the capability to structure online debate, to encourage it, and to create safe place to debate. So you could be surprised at how communities online are directly influenced by its moderation. We can't just remove disappointment, but we can manage it, and we can encourage who believe in us to speak louder. If we start to answer to people who write on our social media, we will see an increase of interaction. We will see an increase of positive comments. In our daily experience, we can see that who express critic position is more likely to comment, while who support the cause generally prefer to put just a like. No, we will say many times, if you agree with something, you like it. But if you disagree with, you start comment, you actively post online, because they feel not safe to expose without anger as fuel. Because if you support something, you just think, okay, here there is a critic comment. I don't want to start a really long thread answering to a crazy people, or to a very angry user. So our active action will influence these people to think, okay, I want to write it, I want to participate. This is a really funny quote about Stephen King. When asked, how do you write? I invariably answer one word at a time. So when you will think, oh, how I can moderate this huge flux of comments? Well, just one per time. So let's go in practical. You should always answer to people who write you on your social media, always in messages, in comments. Why? The reason for its validity are different. First of all, responding to comments increase the engagement rate of the post. So if we post something, the first hour we have posted it, we should be online to follow the content. So if there are positive content, or if there are in general positive or critical comments, we should answer to them, because it increases the engagement rate, and the Facebook algorithm and Instagram algorithm will push the post to be seen by more people. If the comment is critical, answering maybe helps you not so much to convince the subject to change his opinion. It's particularly true if it's a very, very critic position, but it provides an answer to those who have the same doubts and dissuades them from writing the same comment. You can see that when there is a post with many critic comment, they are writing plus or minus the same thing. No, the critic comments are really similar, because if you don't answer to the first critic comment, then other people will feel more encouraged to write their disappointment, because they will feel not alone, and they will feel that there isn't an active moderation, and they can write whatever they want with never face an answer, never face another person to interact with them. In fact, to answer to people immediately contain the avalanche effect. No, when you see many comments, negative I'm referred to, and show that you are transparent and you know how to take responsibility for your claims. It's really important also for your supporters, because I've read before many adjectives about self-confident and trustable. To answer people, it's about to be trustable, that you trust that if you need something, also if you are critics, there is a dialogue for real. So it's all about to be online, because if you start an online debate, you must be ready to face it. Well, if you write something online, also a specific content, you have to be ready to answer to question of people, positive or more critical. If you show that you are encouraging those who want to learn more to write and reproduce, also in those who express critical position, the same assumption as yours. Because if you actually moderate, of course, you are posting, and so you have to be ready to answer. But also who writes comments, in particularly who write maybe critical contents, they understand that they have to be ready to debate with you, that they will not just write something crazy and go away and vanish. They have to be accountable. They have to be responsible of what they write. How to replies? Let's see some practical advice. So start with a direct engage. It is relevant to start your message with good morning name or a more informal hi name, because incredibly it established a connection. When we say good morning, I don't know, Enrica, or name plus surname, it depends about your tone of voice, if you are more institutional or more informal, we are saying, I see you as a person, I'm reading you. Write clear and simple statement. Write short, simple phrases with a lot of commas and a lot of full stop. It is important to be clear, to be easily understood from everyone. Personalize the answer. So when you start to moderate, please dedicate some time to respond to each person, avoiding copy-paste techniques. I know that we have many things to do, that sometimes it happens that we have a really crazy agenda, and to answer to comments and to people and to messages, sometimes it's very stressful. But avoid the copy-paste technique. So another person have asked the same thing and you just copy-paste the answer, because personalized answer, also to change some verbs, to change little things, not to change everything is about caring. If you use copy-paste techniques, you encourage more anger in your public because they feel they're not important. Nobody wants to feel not important. Use a polite tone of voice. This is really easy rule, but it's really fundamental. You should be polite and never use irony, because irony, it's a very complex tool. It could be useful, but it's really complex to be used properly. So for a more easy moderation, I suggest you to be polite, because you speak for an organization and you should be open and institutional. Positive affirmation. This is the power of positivity. One simple but very effective tip is to use a positive languages. Try to avoid negative verb forms and try to use positive words. You can say the same thing in a positive way or in a negative way. When you use positive language, you encourage other people to do the same. It's not magic, it's neurological science, because it's about neurological input to reflect other people way to act. And don't follow the rabbit. We will see later that not every comment should be answered. We will see next slide when not to answer, or when even to hide a comment, which is really extreme thing to hide a comment, but sometimes it's useful too. About the tone of voice, we have said many things about the tone of voice. It's something very important for your social media, because it's about how you speak to people, no? How you write, how express. Be polite and institutional. Maintaining a calm and polite tone of voice has the following effects. It decreases the opponent's aggressiveness, because he does not find elements on the other side to appeal to reinvigorate his negative emotion. Show the viewers of the debate, because of course when you start answering online, your comments, your replies, your way to act, your way to be will be read from other users, not just from the people you answer to. So it puts you in a situation of power, as well as making the affirmation of the counterpart who appears emotional and inspired, lose managed. Well, if you are institutional and you are very calm to answer, even if you will not convince the opponent or the critic comment to change her opinion, you will show to your community that you are institutional, that you are trustable, that you are transparent, you have nothing to hide. It allows you to provide complete and exhaustive information. One of the mission of every organization is to give information. And when we answer to people who are asking us, for example, about I don't know, specific issues about an event, or maybe they want to know more about the content you have shared, you can give more information. And that is the main reason why we are online. And if we are polite and institutional, it's very difficult to attack us from third parties. It's very difficult because we are very calm, we're just giving information. But we don't have to do everything from the nothing. Not everything is unexpected. That is why we could prepare in advance a document that could help us to moderate our community. It's been called Q&A. It is useful to prepare a Q&A document which will contain most frequent questions of user and a template of answer. The document is, of course, exclusively for an internal use and should contain also possible critics. This would give us the time to discuss quietly and deeply with all the team the possible answer. Having a Q&A is not just useful for the social media manager, but also for the whole team of work, because the document provides ponderated and approved answers. So the Q&A is just a Word document where you can write the fact, no? Well, the most frequent question of user, I don't know, maybe questions about the organization, or how it works, or how to take part to the events. So there are many questions that are very frequent and that you can read very, very easily. If you write down in a document, and also maybe the critiques that you know, maybe that your organization is more has particular points that attracts critics, you can write them on this document and write approved answers, no, like example template. So when you face this type of questions, you easily can answer, because the decisions about how to answer have been shared by the team, have been approved by the whole team. So you are very quiet that it's the correct answer to give. When not to answer, sometimes it could be better not to answer. It happens. The reason could be several. The main are the user challenges people and not ideas. It's very common, no, that the user attacks you about who you are and not about the ideas you are expressing. There are troll users, spam. The user has a violent and harmful language. In this case, it's not useful to respond, because we are facing not a dialogue. In particular, if we face spam or hate speech, we should hide the comment. Hide the comment is not to delete it. The comment from everyone but the author and her friends. So the author of the comments will see its own comment and also their friends, but not other people. So to protect your account, it could be useful to write an external social media policy. A social media policy is a one-page document. There are lots of, don't be worried, there are lots of templates that you could just fill a line that explains missions and use of the accounts. So who manage it, and more important, what is not tolerated.